Hello my friends, so welcome back to Wicca 2.0. So in this episode what we're going to do is we are going to look at 5 particular Wicca books and we're going to be comparing them, specifically how they cast circle and how they call the quarters. So I hope you enjoy. So, when we talk about Wicca, what we are actually talking about is Gerald Gardner's form of witchcraft. Now, since its inception, let's say about 75 years ago, just for the sake of argument, it has branched off and it has spawned other forms of Wicca. Many different forms of Wicca and even other offshoots thereof. So, for the scope of this particular video, I'm going to be looking at Wicca circles and also Wicca calling the quarters. The very first one I'm going to be comparing is from 1981, and it is Janet and Stewart Farrar's A Witch's Bible Complete, which is actually 2 books in one. 8 Sabbaths for Witches and What Witches Do. Now, this book is from 1981, and it was also in a joint venture with Doreen Valiente for the source material. And so the source material was Doreen's that she gave to Janet Stewart Farrar. So, in my opinion, and of course many other people may argue with me about this, I believe that this is fairly close to the Gardnerian, the source material. It's not exact, but I feel it's very close to it. Next, we have Buckland's Ye Book o' Blue. So this is a very common book, and a lot of people really enjoy this book. And this one is from 1986. So we're going to be looking at how Buckland suggests casting a circle and calling the quarters. Next, we have Cunningham, Scott Cunningham's Wicca for the Solitary Practitioner. One of the reasons why I chose this particular book is because it is when the term Wicca was really, not necessarily introduced, but it was really forced. In this entire book, he does not use the term witch, he only uses the term Wiccan. So, and it's also a very popular book. And again, this one is from 1988. Another book that I'm going to be referencing for circle casting and calling quarters is DJ Conway. Now, this one was pretty much chosen at random, and it is from 1990. And one of the reasons why I chose this particular book is it is an example of how the evolution of Wicca has begun to change and take on and begin to absorb the author's concept of basing Wicca upon something. For example, Norse, Celtic, fairy, etc., etc. Wicca begins to take on other characteristics that not necessarily were inherently in Wicca to begin with. Lastly, I'm going to be comparing Silver Ravenwolf's Teen Witch, which is from 1998. Again, a very popular author, another reason why I chose this particular book. It is also geared towards a younger generation. So there you have it. These are 5 books. Now I'm not going to go in depth in all of these books. I'm just going to be, again, going over circle casting and calling the quarters. Another aspect of this video is I'm not going to be rehashing just the ritual, just the words. Because anyone who has been practicing for a while understands that although words are very, very important, and language is important, and it does have an influence on your practice, which is something that people need to pay attention to, at least in my opinion. But there's also elements within. It is understanding the concept of what you are doing when you are casting a circle. You're not just walking around in a clockwise fashion, spouting out words. There's a lot more going on, and that is also something that I'm going to emphasize. Again, calling the quarters. You are not just going to north, east, south, and west, and you are just mouthing off words and going through actions and swinging your athame or your wand. There's more to it than that. You are actually manifesting, creating something, and that is also important. Let's begin. Let's go into exactly what a circle is, and for this example, let's go back to ceremonial magic. So ceremonial magic, for my understanding, is pretty much where we get the concept of a magic circle. For example, from the Lesser Key of Solomon, the Goetia, the magic circle. This is the form in the magic circle of King Solomon, the which he made that he might preserve himself therein from the malice of these evil spirits. Thus, magic circle is to be made 9 feet across, and the divine names are to be written around it beginning. This is the form of the magic triangle into the which Solomon did command the evil spirits. It is to be made at 2 feet distance from the magic circle, and it is 3 feet across. So, in the Goetia, you create a magic circle, and you put various names of power to protect you from the spirits that are going to be manifested or called forward in a triangle that sits outside of the circle. So here we have the concept of a magic circle that is a barrier. It is a protection to protect the magician from the evil spirits, or so-and-so, quote-unquote evil spirits, that are going to be called forth in a triangle, again, another container. And that is what the purpose of that magic circle was. Now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the language of the various forms of casting a circle from these 5 books. So I'm just going to be looking at the circle casting at this point. From the Farrar's book, 1981, I conjure thee, O circle of power, that thou beest a meeting place of love, joy, and truth, a shield against all wickedness and evil, a boundary between the world of men and the realms of the mighty ones, a rampart and protection that shall preserve and contain the power that we shall raise within thee. Wherefore do I bless thee and consecrate thee in the names of Kiernanos and Arida. So, some of the key words is conjure. The circle is conjured by the witches. It is a circle of power. It is a meeting place. It is a shield, a boundary between worlds. It is a rampart and a protection that shall preserve and contain. It is also blessed and consecrated. So now in Wicca, what we do is we have this protective boundary, this rampart and protection, a shield in a sense, but it's also conjured. It is created. It is also a meeting place. It is a boundary between 2 worlds. It is blessed and it is consecrated. So now we have this idea of a magic circle that is not only protective, but it is also to preserve and contain the powers that will rise within it. It is also a meeting place. So this concept of a magic circle takes on another aspect, and that is that it is essentially a temple. It is a place to meet and to gather, and it is a boundary, a place between 2 worlds. So ceremonial magic, they created a circle to protect the magician from the evil spirits that were outside of it. In Wicca, it is still a protective barrier, but it has also taken on another meaning. So let's continue on. Let's look at the next author. So in Buckland's Ye Book of Blue, or Buckland's Blue Book of Magic, or Witchcraft I should say, what they do is they cast the circle with a sword, consecrating with water and salt. For Cunningham in 1988, they cast the circle and they say, here is the boundary of the circle of stones, naught but love shall emerge from within, charge this by your power, old one. So Cunningham's circle is a boundary, and they call spirits to attend and to charge the powers of it. So it's beginning to kind of lose this concept of being a meeting place, boundary, a shield, a meeting place. So this is kind of slipping away, especially in the Cunningham material. So next, let's look at DJ Conway. DJ Conway says, I consecrate the circle of power to the ancient gods. Here may they manifest and bless their child. So we have the concept of a circle being consecrated. It is of power, and it's for the ancient gods, but it's for them to manifest and to bless their child. So again, the meaning of a magic circle is changing. Finally, we come across Silver Ravenwolf's material from 1998. She expands on this. I conjure thee, O circle of power, so that you will be for me a boundary between the world of men and the realms of the mighty spirits. A meeting place of perfect love, trust, peace, and joy, containing the power I shall raise within thee. I call upon the angels of the east, south, west, and north to aid me in the consecration. In the name of the Lord and Lady, thus do I conjure thee, O great circle of power. So now we hear those words again, and let me point those out. It is conjured. It is a boundary. There are mighty spirits that are called. It is a meeting place. It contains powers that will rise within thee. It is consecrated. And again, it is conjured by the witch. Now, interestingly enough, there is the addition of angels of the east, south, west, and north. So if you remember from the very first one that we looked at, which was from the Farrar's 1981, where the circle was basically explained exactly what it was, at least Silver Ravenwolf does go into and explain that it is a protective barrier, it's a portable temple, and it's a boundary and a meeting place. I think this is a good example of how Wicca has evolved, and I think this is an important element for us to remember as we go through our studies. There is a way to do something which is beneficial and is close to the original source, and then there is a way to practice it that is much farther away from that, and it's no longer considered to be Wicca. It is now considered to be something else, and it has taken on almost a whole new meaning. So that's important to remember. Before I move on to the watchtowers, one thing I also want to mention are the similarities between where one begins the circle. In these 5 books, they begin in the north or the east. I have not come across a circle casting that begins in the south or the west. So that is one element that is very common to all of them. The other common features that all of these books have is that there is a circle that is cast. The elements are used to reinforce this circle. They call the quarters. There are tools that are used within the circle that are common throughout. There is a ritual and a rite and spell work that takes place within the circle. Now that is also very important for me to emphasize, is that this circle and these watchtowers and this consecration of this portable temple that is also a protective barrier, it's also a boundary, but it also preserves and contains the powers that will rise within thee. That power is a ritual, it is a rite, it is spell work. This is very important. It is that which is raised within the temple that is preserved and contained. So, going back again, 1981, the Farrars, they say they go to each quarter, beginning in the east. Ye lords of the watchtowers of the east, ye lords of air, I do summon, stir, and call you up to witness our rites and to guard the circle. Some of the key words is lords, watchtowers, the direction of east, the association of east with air. They summon, stir, and call to witness and to guard the circle. Next, let's look how Buckland describes it. All hail to the element of air, watchtower of the east. May it stand in strength, watching our circle. So the key words here is, again, it is air, is in the east. They stand in strength, watching over the circle. Cunningham, 1988. O Spirit of the North, Stone, Ancient One of the Earth, I call you to attend this circle, charge this by your powers, Old One. One of the key differences is it starts in the north, not the east. It starts in the north. And there's a petition that they want the Old Ones to attend and to charge the circle with their power. Next, Conway, 1990. I call upon you, powers of air, to witness the right and to guard this circle. Again, starting in the east. Cunningham does it in the north, Farrar, Bucklands, Conway do it in the east. I call upon you, powers of air, to witness this right and to guard this circle. So the watchtowers are called to witness and to guard the circle. Ravenwolf, 1998. All hail, spirits of the north, powers of earth. Be with us here tonight. Bring your strength, prosperity, stability into our circle. Please witness our right and guard our sacred space. So Ravenwolf is calling spirits in the north. So Cunningham, Ravenwolf started in the north. Farrar's, Buckland, Conway in the east. Keywords here is to be with us. And then there's also terms that she puts in there. Strength, prosperity, and stability for the north. Intellect, wisdom, positive thoughts, and other words associated with the various directions that I'm not going to go over right now. But again, these watchtowers are called, or these spirits are called, to witness and to guard. Looking at all of these various ways of casting a circle and then calling the watchtowers, what exactly is that? There were various words that were used throughout these various castings and these callings, but each word there were some words that were used that have similar meanings to other ones. So let's look over some of the meanings of some of these words. When we say we conjure, consecrate, cast, invoke, or evoke, conjuration is the performance of something supernatural by means of magic, incantation, or spell. Consecrate, when we make or declare something, typically a church, sacred, dedicate formally to a religious or divine purpose. Casting, an object made by pouring molten metal or other material into a mold. So, conjuration is a performance in the act of doing an incantation or a spell. So the words that you go around and speak in a circle or call to the watchtowers is a conjuration. When you consecrate something, you are making or declaring it sacred, dedicate formally to a religious or a divine purpose. So when you are casting a circle and you consecrate it, you are defining it as a sacred thing, a divine power, or having a divine purpose. When you are casting, you are creating and forming. So looking at these words, we can see that when you cast, when you form, when you create a circle, that circle is consecrated, it is conjured, it is a protective shield, it is a boundary, it is also a meeting place. It is to contain and hold the power that is raised within it. So regardless of what words you use or what way you prefer to speak as you go around in the circle, it is still the same thing. It is a protective barrier. It is a meeting place. It is a temple. It is a sacred space. It is a boundary. It is there to contain the powers that will be risen within it. Again, with the watchtowers are summoned, called, to attend, to witness, to guard. So they are there to support and hold and witness and guard what happens within that sacred space. Whatever that rite is, whatever that ritual is, whatever that spell work is. The other thing to remember is that we are conjuring that circle So it is our mind that is creating that circle. It is a protective psychic shield that is either created by the witch as a solitary or by the group of witches in a group practice. The watchtowers, again, are manifested. They are called. They are essentially thought forms that are created in each direction, and they are there to hold and to guard and to witness what is happening within that circle for that rite, that ritual, or that spell work. So I hope I didn't stumble over my words too much. I hope I made my point. And thank you so much, and blessed be.
Thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you'd like to stalk me on social media, you can find me on Facebook and on Twitter. If you'd like to support my madness, become a Patreon supporter. All of my Patreons have access to my videos 3 days before I release them on YouTube, and you can watch them completely ad-free. This has been Liloken, dispelling the bullshit one video at a time. Thank you, and blessed be.